Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Positive tests for coronavirus surge in Kern County. More than 1,200 new cases reported over the weekend, and public health officials warn we could find ourselves back on the state's watch list.
High school athletes hoping for a chance to get back on the field could learn today when or if that could happen.
And will the Kern County Fair go on? And what could the decades-old tradition look like if it does? The Fair Board meets later today on this Monday, July 20th, 2020. Good morning, Kern County. It is 5 a.m. on this Monday, starting a new work week here. And we've had several days of warm weather, and the triple digits look like they're not going to go away for at least the next few days.
Yeah, it's been rather warm. I was actually gone camping all last week where it was nice and cool. So, it's good to be back with everybody, but we are back to the heat. Let's check in with Kevin and have a look at that Monday forecast. A little bit of relief, right, Kevin?
Well, there's some good news for you. Actually, we're going to try to keep things below 100 degrees for Bakersfield the next 7 days. There will be some areas of Kern County where we will see the heat. And yesterday, we definitely did see the triple digits at 103. So that's kind of what we looked at yesterday. Today, we should see a little bit of a cool down from that 103. We've got clear skies out there right now, and our current temperatures sitting at 74 in terms of the winds light out of the north at 7 miles per hour. Here's a look at our dog walk forecast for today, and we're going to start out in the upper 70s, and then you can see we will progress into the upper 90s this afternoon, so we're not expecting 103. As we take a look at the Tehachapi area, right now 64 degrees, just a light wind out of the north-northwest at 8. I do expect the winds to pick up a little bit as we go throughout the afternoon. And you can see here on our wind forecast, we are going to see some pockets later on this afternoon and evening, but no advisories in place for us in terms of the winds. We still have the air quality issues around the area because of the fire burning up north of us. Here's a look at the hour-by-hour forecast for the mountains. Mid-60s to start, and then we'll look for some 80s as we progress into the afternoon. I'll have much more in your forecast. That's coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. This morning, Kern County is on the verge of shutting down once again after a wave of new cases confirmed over the weekend. Right now, we are not on the state's monitoring list. However, public health officials confirm we have been flagged for the second day in a row. If we fail today, Governor Newsom could place more restrictions on the county. That could come later on this week.
That means places like movie theaters, gyms, personal care services, hair salons, and barber shops, churches, offices, and malls would have to shut down again. The state says modifications can be made if operations can move outside. All of this comes as we learned that more than 1,200 additional people in Kern County tested positive for COVID-19 over the weekend. No new deaths were reported. 149 people are currently in the hospital fighting the virus. That means 1 in 25 people who are currently infected are in the hospital. 66 people are in the ICU. Our current peak is June 23rd. That was 27 days ago. We saw 407 people test for the virus on that day, and those tests later came back positive. Our second highest day is the next day with 346 cases. This morning, there's troubling news when it comes to our state's projected death toll that says that nearly 7,700 Californians have died from the virus, and projections from the University of Washington show more than 21,000 Californians could die from the virus by November 1st. However, here's the good news. Masks save lives. If everyone in California wore a mask, more than 5,500 lives could be saved. We would also see daily infections plummet by more than half. Your time now is 5:04. Several states reported alarming new coronavirus numbers this weekend as the U.S. breaks single-day records of new cases at least 9 times in a month. Meanwhile, a new report recommends 18 states roll back reopening measures as President Trump defends his decision against a national mask mandate. Meredith Wood has the latest.
A grim milestone, the U.S. shattering records of daily new coronavirus cases at least 9 times in a month. Alarming new coronavirus numbers reported in several states, including Florida, which is a hot spot.
If things continue and this continues to be unmanageable, we're going to have to make some dramatic decisions, like potentially a stay-at-home order.
On Sunday, the latest numbers out of Florida showed more than 12,000 new infections and 87 deaths reported. Hospitals there are struggling to keep up with the surge of patients. Texas also seeing a sharp rise in COVID cases, as well as Georgia and Mississippi, where despite the surge, the governor is defending his decision to not issue a statewide mask mandate.
If I believed that was the best way to save lives in my state, I would have done it a long time ago.
On Fox News Sunday, President Trump also saying he would not issue a nationwide mask mandate, downplaying the virus.
I will be right eventually. You know, I said it's going to disappear. I'll say it again. But it's going to disappear.
Does that discredit
and I'll be right. I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so. You know why it doesn't discredit? Because I've been right probably more than anybody else.
This comes as an unpublished report prepared by the White House Coronavirus Task Force recommends 18 states, including hard-hit Florida and California, roll back reopening measures.
This virus preys on our division. It preys when we get exhausted. It preys on us in those moments when we don't have a unified national front, or we as individuals think, this ain't going to be a big deal. We have to be as vigilant right now as we were the first day.
I'm Meredith Wood reporting.
And we're just 2 months away from when the Kern County Fair will usually begin. Today, we could find out if the fair will go on or fall victim to COVID-19. The board that organizes the fair will discuss if the annual event needs to be canceled. Board members are juggling concerns about the coronavirus and the fair's budget. During a meeting back in May, they decided the fair could go on as scheduled. In May, Finance Chair Lucas Espericueta said that board members should consider a fair with no rides, just concerts, livestock, and concessions. He said the fair as an organization could lose up to $3 million if the event is canceled.
Also today, a decision on student athletes and fall sports could be coming today. Officials with the California Interscholastic Federation and the state's governing body for high school sports are contemplating pulling the plug on fall sports completely. Yes, that includes high school football. This comes as cases of coronavirus surge across the state. Student athletes are supposed to start practicing in less than 2 weeks. It is possible for the sports to be pushed back to January. That means the football season and other fall sports could begin in the winter.
And that brings us to our 17 interactive feedback poll this morning. We want to know what you think. Do you believe that fall sports should be postponed? Call or text us at 888-4617. Press 1 for yes and 2 for no. You can also text, tweet, email, or Facebook your comments. Once again, that phone line is 888-4617. We'll hear some of your comments and have results from the poll coming up later this morning on Sunrise and throughout the day here on KGET. 5:08 now. Many classrooms across Kern County could be empty this fall. Governor Gavin Newsom announced Friday counties can begin in-person education only if they manage to stay off the state's watch list for 14 days in a row. All counties that don't meet the criteria will start the fall with distance learning. As of now, Kern meets the criteria, but that could change if we're placed back on the monitoring list. The state's guidance also says in school districts allowed to resume classroom teaching, teachers, staff, and students must wear masks or face shields in classes 3rd grade and up. In 2nd grade and below, it is recommended but not required.
A local nonprofit is making sure students are prepared for the upcoming school year. United Way of Kern County and the Blessing Corner have teamed up to provide 3,000 backpacks and school supplies for children in need, but they need your help in making sure they have enough for all children. They're looking for backpacks, notebooks, pens and pencils, toothpaste and toothbrushes, mouthwash, deodorant, and other items. They'll be collecting those items this Wednesday from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. at 5405 Stockdale Highway. You can also donate online at helpkern.org.
Also, students in need of school supplies can receive some help at the Back to School Fair Saturday, July 25th. Dignity Health and Mercy Memorial Hospital's Learning and Community Outreach Centers will host a drive-through back to school fair. Anyone with kids kindergarten through 12th grade will get a free backpack and school supplies. Parents will also get help with medical enrollment or Medi-Cal enrollment, renewal, and scheduling health appointments. The event runs 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Bessie Owens Primary School. Supplies are limited and kids have to be present.
Welcome back. It is 5:19 on this Monday morning, and a man is dead after he was hit by a car in central Bakersfield overnight. Bakersfield police say a car hit a bicyclist around 9:30 last night. It happened near Chester Avenue and California Avenue, just south of 13th Street. The man riding the bicycle was hit and killed. Officers say the driver drove off. The car is described as a newer model Toyota or Nissan, believed to be a dark blue or gray. It was last seen speeding southbound on Chester Avenue. BPD says the car has front-end damage. The police department says this is the 20th person who was hit and killed in Bakersfield this year. A man is dead following a crash on Golden State Avenue. CHP says a small SUV was unsafely passing near the entrance to a construction zone at the airport, lost control, rolled, and landed on the roof. According to CHP, an off-duty officer saw it happen in his rear-view mirror. 2 people were seriously hurt. 1 person was thrown from the car and died. We now know that was a 22-year-old man from Bakersfield. Another person suffered major injuries. CHP says alcohol does appear to be a factor in this crash. Tragedy on the Kern River. A 14-year-old has died over the weekend after getting swept away by the strong currents. Search and rescue crews responded to Hart Park on Saturday evening after someone reported a 14-year-old girl missing in the river. The family has identified the girl as Precious Porter. During the search, a sheriff's helicopter found the girl in the water. Crews performed CPR and took her to a nearby hospital, but she later died.
I just want to stress, the dangers of the river. Anytime anybody gets in the river, they should have a PFD or life vest on. Always be with friends or family so they have somebody there to watch them. And if you can't swim, stay out of the water.
A GoFundMe page for the Porter's family has been set up to help with funeral expenses. You can find that link on our website, kget.com. And last night, Precious Porter's family and friends held a vigil to remember the young girl. Her family says her name said it all.
She's so precious. She's kind. When you meet her, you just love her instantly. She just got this attitude that you do love. As soon as you see Precious, you love Precious. It's like everybody here. It's a lot of people that here that did know Precious and met her on once or 2 occasions, and she made a big impact on their life.
The family says they hope to hold a car wash at some point to help raise money to offset funeral expenses. Her aunt says they will post more information on Facebook for when a date has been set for that car wash. Meantime, a man was found dead Sunday morning in the Kern River near the same area where a 50-year-old man went into the river on Saturday, but never came out. This happened near the Cow Flat area. According to KCSO, another man went missing in the same area last week. Right now, it is unclear who was found. The coroner's office will release the man's name later. Congress is back in Washington today trying to fix the coronavirus economic crisis. Tracy Potts has more from Washington.
Another $1 trillion. That's what Republicans plan to pitch this week for businesses shattered by coronavirus. Money for schools and childcare, lawsuit protection, another round of $1,200 checks to Americans, and tax breaks for businesses. President Trump wants more.
I'll have to see, but yeah, I would consider not signing it if we don't have a payroll tax cut.
Republicans can't agree what to include. It's a lot less than the $3 trillion Democrats approved, and President Trump is once again at odds with his own health experts.
I don't agree with the statement that if everybody wear a mask, everything disappears.
States insist it's about the science.
We need to wear a mask. That example needs to be set by our national leadership.
We simply found that they work.
But without consistent rules on wearing masks, the U.S. continues to break records for new cases.
In fact, we hit that record again on Friday with more than 77,000 new cases in a day. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.